Chapter 5 Formulas and Functions in MS Excel 2016. Magic Carpet. Creating formulas. Entering cell references. Using operator in formula. Functions in Excel. Creating a function in worksheet. Error result. MS Excel, as you all know, provides us with worksheets which consist of rows and columns. You can also store data in these worksheets, also called a spreadsheet. It is developed by Microsoft for Windows, Mac OS, Android and iOS. It features calculations, graphing tools, pivot tables, and a macro programming language called Visual Basic for applications. One of the greatest features in Excel is the ability to calculate using formulas. Just like a calculator, you can add, subtract, multiply and divide in Excel. Formulas. MS Excel uses standard mathematical operators for formulas and all formulas in Excel begins with an equal sign. Function, operator, addition, plus, subtraction, minus, division, slash, multiplication, star, exponents, exponential. When we create a formula in Excel, most of the time cell's address is also used. This is called cell reference. By cell reference, it simply means the location of the cell. This ensures that the formula is always accurate. Cell reference is of two types. Relative. They change when a formula is copied to another cell. The default cell reference are relative reference. If you copy the formula equals D2 star E2 from row 2 to row 3, the formula will become equals D3 star E3. Absolute. They remain constant no matter whether they are copied. This is used when we don't want the content of a cell associated with a formula to be changed. An absolute reference is designated in a formula by the addition of a dollar sign. It can precede the column reference or row reference or both. The table below shows the usage of absolute cell reference. Absolute reference. Particular. Keys in the keyboard. $A, $1. The column and the row do not change when copied. Press F4. A, $1. The row does not change when copied. Press F4 twice. $A1. The column does not change when copied. Press F4 3 times. You can press F4 key on your keyboard to switch between relative and absolute cell references. For example, in the formula below, cell A4 adds the values of cell A1, A2 and A3 by using cell references. When you press enter, the formula calculates and displays the answer in cell A4. If you change the values in the references cells, the formula will automatically recalculate. You can create a variety of simple formulas in Excel by combining mathematical operators with cell references. You can also combine numbers with cell reference to make a formula. Some examples for the same are shown in the table given below. Formula. Function equals A1 plus A2 plus A3. This will add A1, A2 and A3 equals A1 upon A2. This will divide A1 by A2 equals A1 minus 4. This will subtract 4 from cell A1 equals A1 star 10. This will multiply cell A1 by 10 equals A1 exponential 2. This will find the square of the cell A1. To create a formula, follow the given steps to create a formula. Step 1. Select the cell that will contain the formula. Step 2. Type the equal sign. It will appear in both the cell and the formula bar. Step 3. Type the cell address of the cell you want to reference first in the formula. Cell F2 in our example. A blue border will appear around the referenced cell. Step 4. Type the mathematical operator you want to use. Step 5. Type the cell address of the cell you want to reference second in the formula. A red border will appear around the referenced cell. Step 6. press Enter key on your keyboard. The formula will be calculated and the value will be displayed in the cell. Fact Genie. If the result of a formula is too large to be displayed in a cell, it may appear as pound signs instead of a value. This means the column is not wide enough to display the cell content. You can increase the column width to show the cell content. Functions in Excel. A function is a predefined formula that performs calculations using specific values in a particular order. MS Excel includes many functions that can be used to quickly find the sum, average, count, maximum value and minimum value for a range of cells. Now, there is a specific way in which a function must be written. This is called syntax. The basic syntax for a function is the equal sign, the function name, sum, for example, and one or more arguments. There are a variety of functions available in Excel. Below are some of the most common functions you will see. Functions. Result. Sum. This function adds all of the values of the cells in the argument. Average. This function determines the average of the values included in the argument. It calculates the sum of the cells and then divides that value by the number of cells in the argument. Count. This function counts the number of cells with numerical data in the argument. This function is useful for quickly counting items in a cell range. Max. This function determines the highest cell value included in the argument. Min. This function determines the lowest cell value included in the argument. Creating a function. In this example, we will use the product function, that is, it will multiply the values for us and give us a result. For creating a function using product command, the given steps should be followed. Step 1. Choose the cell which will consist of the function. Step 2. Type the equal sign and enter the desired function name. You can choose the name of the function from the list of suggested functions which appears below the cell as you type. Step 3. For the argument inside parentheses, enter the cell range. This formula will multiply the values of the cells. Step 4. Press the Enter key on the keyboard. The function will be calculated and the result will be shown in the. To enter a function manually. If you already know the function name, you can easily type it yourself. In the example below, we'll use the average function to calculate the average number of units sold. Follow the given steps to do the same. Step 1. Select the cell that will contain the function. Step 2. Type the equal sign and enter the desired function name. You can also select the desired function from the list of suggested functions that appear below the cell as you type. In our example, we will type equals average. Step 3. Enter the cell range for the argument inside parentheses. In our example, we will type C3 ratio C9. This formula will add the values of cells C3 ratio C9, then divide that value by the total number of values in the range. Similarly, the rest of the functions can be used manually in Excel. The function library. There are hundreds of functions in Excel, hence there is no need to learn every single function. But there may be times when you want to use functions which you are not aware of. For this, you can use the function library on the Formulas tab to browse functions by category, such as financial, logical, text, and date and time. To access the function library, select the Formulas tab on the ribbon. Look for the function library group. Insert a function from the function library. In the example below, we will use the counter function to count the total number of items in the items column. Unlike count, counter can be used to tally cells that contain data of any kind, not just numerical data. Follow the given steps to do the same. Step 1. Select the cell that will contain the function. In our example, we will select cell B15. Step 2. Click the Formulas tab on the ribbon to access the function library. Step 3. From the function library group, select the desired function category. In our example, we will choose More Functions and move the mouse over Statistical. Step 4. Select the desired function from the drop-down menu. In our example, we'll select Count a function, which will count the number of cells in the items column that are not empty. Step 5. The function arguments dialog box will appear. Select the value 1 field, then enter on select the desired cells. You may continue to add arguments in the value 2 field, but in this case, we will only want to count the number of cells in the cell range A3 ratio A12. Step 6. When you are satisfied, click OK. Step 7. The function will be calculated and the result will appear in the cell. You can also browse for functions instead of using the function library, and this can be done using the insert function command. Error results in MS Excel. If MS Excel 2016 can't properly calculate a formula that you just entered in a cell, the program displays an error in the cell as soon as you complete the formula entry. Excel uses several error values, all of which begin with the hash sign. The following table shows Excel's error values along with the meaning and cause for the same. Error value, meaning, causes, action, hash div/0, division by 0. The division operation in your formula refers to a cell that contains the value 0 or is blank. A. Change the value of the cell to a value that is not equal to 0. B. Prevent the error from being displayed by using the logical function if. Hash n upon a. No value available. Technically, this is not an error value, but a special value that you can manually enter into a cell to indicate that you don't yet have a necessary value. Either make sure that the value exists in the source data or use an error handler such as if error in the formula. Hash name ? Excel doesn't recognize a name. This error value appears when you incorrectly type the range name, refer to a deleted range name, or forget to put quotation marks around a text string in a formula. Simply correct the function name used. Hash null ! You specified an intersection of two cell ranges whose cells don't actually intersect. Because a space indicates an intersection, this error will occur if you intersect a space instead of a comma, the union operator between ranges in function arguments. Separate cell references correctly. Hash num ! Problem with a number in the formula. This error can be caused by an invalid argument in an Excel function or a formula that produces a number too large or too small to be represented in the worksheet. To fix this, change the formula. Hash ref ! Invalid cell reference. This error occurs when you delete a cell referred to in the formula or if you paste cells over the ones referred to in the formula. To fix this error, you can either delete plus hash ref in the formula of cell or you can undo your action by pressing Ctrl+Z. Hash value ! Wrong type of argument in a function or wrong type of operator. This error is most often the result of specifying a mathematical operation with one or more cells that contain text. A. Change the value of cell to a number. B. Use a function to ignore cells that contain text. Magic scroll. One of the greatest features in Excel is the ability to calculate using formulas. MS Excel uses standard mathematical operators for formulas. Cell reference simply means the location of the cell. You can create a formula manually or use the predefined ones. A function is a predefined formula that performs calculation using specific values in a particular order. The basic syntax for a function is the equal sign, the function name sum, for example, and one or more arguments. You can look for functions in function library. A. Put a tick on the